This is Parta Television. In this broadcast of Parta Television, we'll be talking to Chairman-elect Hiran Kure about his hopes for tourism in his native Sri Lanka. We'll hear from John Kodosky on the Association's latest tourism forecasts for the Asia-Pacific region, and we'll also talk to Chairman Ponsri Manahan. But first, Parta President and CEO Greg Duffel.
This year has been also a unique year in our history. Not only are we 58 years old, but this year we are facing one of the most dramatic economic crises we've ever seen in our livelihoods. We're facing the impact of H1N1 flu virus right here on our doorsteps, and also political impact and political unrest, not just in Thailand but around the region. At this point in time, cash flow is critical for all our members in the tourism industry, and being able to make a business decision on how you're going to increase that cash flow. The numbers you're about to see are some of the vital information that you need to put that decision together.
Here's John Kodosky with extracts from the latest Parta tourism forecasts for the Asia-Pacific region.
We cover, as you can see, about 41 destinations within the region. That normally gives us about a 98% coverage of all visitor arrivals. By the fourth quarter of 2008, we were heading at around about a 3% loss in visitor arrivals. This is just numbers of people or trips. And by the first quarter of this year, it looks as if we'll end up somewhere about 14% down, which is what on earth happened. We're not used to that here. Certainly that's creating some consternation, as you can well imagine.
But what about the source markets that are so important to destinations right across the Asia-Pacific region?
In this part of the world, we have a few markets which really hold up our numbers. Departures by air out of the USA, and again we're talking quarters, but you can see first quarter of 2009 was down almost 10%. Now this is excluding the traffic to Canada and Mexico, so it's people getting into aircraft on mainland USA and flying to places like Asia, like Europe and so forth. And this is a real setback because it was beginning to boom, particularly to Asia.
But what about seeking business opportunities in tough times? Are there any niche markets that can be exploited? Here's Greg Duffel again.
One of the opportunities we see based on cash flow is the medical tourism market, which Kun Ponsuri mentioned before, and therefore members that can adapt their business model to go into that market. Very small numbers, however the revenue and therefore the cash flow is very high. And those little niche opportunities, those are the little green shoots right now that are available in the market. The markets are very unpredictable, so what works in one market doesn't work in the next. What works with one member may not work with the next either. So coming out with a one solution fits everybody is not, unfortunately, the answer right now.
The spread of the H1N1 influenza virus is clearly causing concern for the travel and tourism industry. What's the view at Parta?
It has scared off a lot of travel and tourism people, and governments are taking action to bring that back in. The media is still spinning it as very much a negative worldwide pandemic. Each time the industry has come back bigger, stronger, and better able to manage that. And I think that's a character to some of the people in this room here and the way they run their businesses.
Next we hear from Hiran Kure. Is there now a brighter future for tourism in Sri Lanka?
And already we see tourism growth in small numbers, though we expect it to grow quite a bit in the coming years. Well, Sri Lanka has changed its slogan from a land like no other to small miracle, which was launched in a small way during the ITB, and it was launched in Sri Lanka on the 23rd of June. Finally, we are on a level playing field in our country, and we're looking forward to better times in tourism, and then of course we'll be working more and more closely with Parta and other organizations also to promote the destination.
We caught up with Hiran Kure and asked him again about the prospects for Sri Lanka now that peace has been restored.
We think by this winter the numbers are going to really roll on, and you were asking about 12 months. I think in 12 months we'll be really on a song. MICE will be also benefiting because look at the South Indian market. South India itself, I mean from South India, all the major destinations in South India, it's only 1 hour to Sri Lanka. And so that alone will be huge for us. So they are really, for MICE, our main focus is India, and the short haul destinations like Thailand and Singapore and so on, to bring in the MICE operators into our country. Yeah, I mean, that's going to grow as well. Like all other destinations, we are also anxiously hoping that the economic recovery, the negative publicity due to all these swine flus and all these will fade away and, recover faster.
And finally, PADA Chairman Sri Manohan. Just how can the Executive Committee and the Association help its members in the current crisis?
All of us in the Executive Committee, we are in the industry for more than 25 years. With all our expertise and our willingness to help, then we will work together and help and support our members.